Every time I'm calling, she says she's gonna call me back. I told her. I'm telling you.
I'll tell you what's unfair. I have my third first date with Tony tonight, and I have to go
Down,
downstairs
down now,
instead of
down,
upstairs.
down,
Eating with my
down, 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 down. Yep, hopping straight into. Hold on, I need to check. Champion League. Of course, yeah. You have to get 2,000, right? 6,000 arena points. Yep, I know. And your stream isn't frozen. I know how it is. Don't worry. Yep, hopping straight into. That boy sus. Get the pump, that's a must. I don't trust. Or cool. Okay, or cool. Into. Yeah. Phase Mongrel. Listen. I told her just like money, she can't breathe without oh, for local. And why is it not letting me go live on? I don't know. This is too piped, but I think that she don't need somebody. I'm trying to be with you so you don't be with them. She can't breathe with them. Oh. There it is. Oh my god! Mongrel just got him on 2 health. 20 health. Literally, he was dead and somehow he was just like, boom. That is such a comeback. Oh my god, Mongrel taking the dub. FNCS. Week 3, I think. Next season, what I want to do is, get into a Champion League, at least play first week of FNCS. It's good content, too. It's really fun, I actually get to say I played in FNCS. Like, how many people get to say... Like, how many people would you go online, right? Say, did you ever play an FNCS? They would be like, oh yeah. I mean, I played with someone who either bought their account or was in the World Cup. I made one live stream back at Season X. Nah, I probably made a few, but I saw one live stream. I was streaming on my birthday, so I was like I was just playing. I don't even know. I was like terrible. Everyone was too sweaty. I was playing Team Rumble. Don't ask me why. It was Season X and I was terrible. So yeah, I'm just. You wanna know the truth? I'm gonna camp here. I'm gonna loot this house. Oh no.
Huge amount today, going down in 16th with 2 eliminations in game 1 of day 2. So this might be what some of these other teams need to kind of get that clutch factor and really start to close that gap a little bit.
Oh god.
Say Quebec we saw this in second in that all in the end game are kind of reaching back up now and really starting to roll back against the top 2 teams.
Yeah, Seti, Quebec's team, they're here. Simon, Michael, and they're in fifth. Getting his little solo action on a little bit into previous competitions, now getting all that knowledge in for the trio in terms of how they're going to be rotating, where the best sides to be at. They'll net up all the way in fifth. This is how far that win got Mongrel, Mitro, and Tayson. Way off that third page, now onto the second one. 6th overall, 94 points. They're peering up, Reese. They really want to have a shot at possibly getting close at the end of the day.
Dang, bro. Why does he just spray like that, bro? It doesn't make you good.
Warm-up cup winning that big time and doing very, very well overall.
Shit.
Like, it's very, very impressive seeing them. I guarantee these guys will bring it back.
Why, bro? Who pushed that in the rock? That's really, you know, I'm not fair though. I did not play one bad game at this.
All these guys have been playing so well over the last 2 days. 11 so far for this trio. They're actually running Storm right in, up to 12 and hanging around. Around 15 years old, Thomas HD. It's a nice early game play. He'll stay in top 15. But here it is, the next page of contenders who want to look in, beat top 15. And Lex Janice, their trio will be there looking in, right on the cusp. 56 points just for today. I mean, man, Zeke, just like, there's too many trios. I'm trying to like pick out names here and there, but I'm just seeing like 5 a page that can qualify.
And that's the thing, that's how it goes. You know, there's so many opportunities, so many high-profile trios. They just need it one game, and it'll flip everything on its head. Now, guys, we do have to take a look at some of the early game drop spots and differences coming out of yesterday to break it down for us.
Absolutely. This, you know, a little bit of confusion as to what shows you to be paying attention to, how are the games looking, let's actually take it a little bit slower, look at the early games, and point out who to look at. In 16th place, we see Genesis Trio. Editing their drop to hopefully have a better day too.
In previous weeks, these guys have been landing sweaty sands, contesting with our current number 1 trio. So I don't think these guys want to do that at all. They knew that would be a really tough fight, and they fought each other in the warm-up cup. And it didn't really work out that well for each other. So they moved over to Risky today to see how this is going to play out for them.
Yeah, but then we'll get a perspective of Slurpee Swamp. We see Hen's trio here. One of the reasons they're doing so well is you don't really have to worry about, you know, using the shields. You can actually use all this extra stuff in Slurpee to be able to get up. In first, though, the people who kind of moved Andalex away, 4CR, Nate, Kesix, still uncontested, being number 2 at 26.
And our current first place team, Queasy, Milan, and Chopex, you can see there how coordinated their drop is. The exact same thing as we've seen with Hane's team down in Slurpee Swamp. All landing, getting these barrels immediately, meaning that they're not going to have to use any of their shield at all. And these guys get a ton of shield because of that. And one of the things that we saw, huge snipes come from Thomas HD right now. A massive snipe for 200, and look at this. Pure coordination. Pure coordination between all 3 teammates. One snipes the wall, the other one AR shots the wall, and then Thomas HD hits the headshot through that at the same time.
I'll say it.
Thomas HD's popping off. Say it.
Thomas HD is the best sniper in the game of Fortnite. Hands down.
I believe it. No debate. No debate. No debate. How do you just like keep up with just that raw talent, right? Just that raw skill. That's just how it goes in video games. Sometimes you're playing against somebody like, man, I might be good at this, or I might be good at building. No, Thomas HD is just gonna snipe you from forever away, so it doesn't matter. You're not even gonna have an opportunity to react to him. He's gonna take you out before you can even think about him on the map. That is legendary skills at its finest. Now, boys, we're going to get ready to hop back into our next game in here in just a second. Don't forget, we're looking at the top 15 teams. Who will be pushed on through? How many teams are trying to break into that bubble? We'll see how this goes. With that being said, let's throw it back over to our captain to get into game number 8 on the day.
It is rocking and rolling right here in game 2 of 6. This is going to be a great time already. Game 1 proving true that a lot of people are making their way up their leaderboard. To kind of mention the bubble so down, take a look. I mean, Eel is stacked, man. Anyone that's currently sitting at around the 27th place could definitely all the way up to the top 15.
Yeah, just looking at the line right now for the first time in a while. We have a change up in the first place spot. We talked about it, Queasy Milan and Traffic's going down early that game. They've been so reliant on those deep placements to make it far. Well, they fell in peasants towards the arc. They were able to rise to the occasion, finding that open at this top two teams having a little bit of separation. But additionally, the team maintaining their momentum from the 10 Elam VR yesterday at the end of the day, and to set those in Patrick, launching themselves up into third place. It was my prediction, 111 points. So with still 5 matches left to play, this is game 2 of 6 on the day. This is game 7 of 12 overall. So 5 more to play, and right now there's still plenty up in the air in EU.
Absolutely. What is not up in the air is that Monroe, Tyson, and Mitro not having to deal with Lunev's Jaspe trio in the moment because they have this free, and they have to look and realize that it was a sigh of relief knowing that they would get this uncontested, just like in
Other side of my watch. Nope.
Japper and Avery getting this uncontested. We're kind of seeing the fruits of their labor breathe on them in game 1. And they just
Far,
were
though.
wondering who was on top, and we panned out, and of course, it's Mongrel sitting up there with all the ability and all the power in the world.
Let's be fair though, right? Like they got, I think it was 34 points from that game. Before that game, they were about middling of the
Don't
pack,
shoot me,
and
don't
they
shoot me,
still
don't
had
shoot me,
it
don't shoot me,
mostly
don't shoot me.
contested, and that's largely, I feel like their rotations
Wow,
out
do
of
something.
start
Let's go.
haven't been as clean, and particularly with the number of teams who are now landing in the northern area of upstate New York going up there. It can be a little bit more difficult to execute getting out of there,
Really
especially
gonna get sniped.
if you're a
Look at
little
this.
lax. And we saw last week when they were being contested, they went from uncontested after the first 2 games to then having Lenuf, Jaspe, and Co. drop directly
Is this
on
kid
top
blind?
of them. And it felt like they weren't taking it as seriously. I mean, Shadow and Reese did such a good job kind of
I'm gonna get
detailing
sniped.
those initial drops, how well planned some of these teams have them. And it didn't really seem like that from Mitra Mongo and Tyson. It just seemed like they were content to be like, oh, well, we're going to 50-50 a chest, and if we lose, then we lose, and we'll go sit there and play Minesweeper while we wait in queue. Like, that's,
Oh, I see that llama up there. I see it, I see it, I see it. You're gonna go for that? Go for that, please go for that.
If they're being contested, that they can come up with a game plan to
I
beat.
literally just need a few more kids to
We're
die.
seeing this trio right here in 4th place right now. Teak, Kubix, and Seti, and they had a great run. We saw them at the end game. They were in the
Don't
top
shoot, don't shoot.
5 at the very end, and they saw a clutch moment of just one player just being solo for a bit. And those are the opportunities that you need to capitalize. Even though you're out, a solo player can still clutch. Thomas did it. Veggie's done it. Everybody that's in this lobby has this opportunity to do it. And they kind of mentioned it during the ninja battles where being a solo player just allows you to sneak on by. You know, you're not really drawing too much attention. You can kind of just, in a blink of an eye, get through. Whereas trio, you know, you garner so much attention. This trio has been getting some attention right here as we're seeing them landing in the start pond. I love the Drake meme that the socials tweeted out. They were going down into the wooded areas, first dropping there, and then they said, no, thank you. We're going to go ahead and switch it up. But like I mentioned yesterday, the team of Airlock, Batos, and Leo were landing here in week 1. So if this team does qualify, which is the chances are they will, then they will have to think about, do we land here considering that we had so much success, or do we go back and go down to the wooded area? But here is that battle kind of going out right now. People are trying to punch their way into the top 15 here, Sundown.
Yeah, and you can see Pinke trying to get aggressive here. Does have the high ground currently, also has the peppers, which will be difficult to maintain. You can see Razon actually getting knocked in the feet by Janus out there. Aqua had already gotten taken out as well, so a little bit of issues going on with that trio today. They've been struggling necessarily in week number 2, but of course already qualified through week 1 as the pressure continues going on to Pazit and Co. Doesn't necessarily have the opportunity to play passively as Carrot does get taken out. Not necessarily maximizing the Storm Surge damage there. However, not going to be necessarily as much of a factor as we've seen.
I'm waiting to just place 26. Not do the full 25. That was so on.
This contention right now and find the last remaining member.
This is Void, Monster, Butcher, and PK. They're sitting in 33rd place at the moment. But like I said, with the ability to be so strong, gets that out the air. And that vibe to kind of take them on. And I like it when I see a nice emo right there. That just lets them know that, hey, they're in the zone, you know? They're just ready to roll. I wonder, question Sundown, do they have that key binding like really easy to hit? You know, just bang their favorite emo, the L dance or whatever, you know? I wonder that.
Oh, you have. So when I actually was first started playing and constantly dropping tilted and was actually decent at the game rather than just like being able to rotate and catch people off guard and be cheeky, I had the take the L binded, so it pulled up my favorites with alt, and then tab would turn on take the L. So I would eliminate somebody, and then like if I had to alt tab and like go back and do something at work or like couldn't play, I would just sit there taking the L the entire time. So like anytime I alt tabbed out of the game, my character would just take the L. Because like 90% of the time I'm playing Fortnite is when like I just have the opportunity to steal like a couple quick games here or there, unless I'm doing an arena grind at the start of the season. So often like if I have something come up or I need to like go handle something with the pets or there's a meeting or a call, like I'll just alt tab out real quick. Like it's just a casual game, no real kind of harm or foul. But
Yes.
then at the start it would just be sitting there taking the L on whoever happened to be alt tab nearby.
Absolutely, man. You gotta love it. They're taking the L, though. You said, we talked about it, for me, one of the most triggering things, maybe I gotta, harden up a bit, not to let that trigger me, but here we're seeing Queasy, Chapix, and Milan, who are having a great run. They kind of slipped a little bit, going to second place, and we already saw, this is what Queasy and Chapix and Milan likes to do. This is a great vantage point here in Stark Industries. Look at all that area that we're seeing there for production. We had an ability to see all the abilities to pick up those storm tags. And for teams that land on the outer edges, that is one problem
really
they have to
build
solve.
here.
Where are we going to storm tags? As Savage right now has a Apollo right in his grill, and down he goes. And that's a big-time pickup for McKay. And oh my goodness, this is another team completely setting up the ambush. And the gameplay and VOD review is real. But Benji says, I like your plan. It doesn't matter. I have myself a green pump. I'm going to save the squad. And here we go. Can Benji clutch? Because this is going to be a big-time opportunity for a new trio to add some big names to their elim list. Never mind.
I was about to say, huge shot from Benji, finding a near impossible angle there between the triangle edits. Lexi didn't get converted over, so going to be able to save a little bit. Honestly, they might want to consider just letting him tick out and then using the reboot van for both of them. But reboot van currently in use. We talked about it. We saw Aqua and Reason go down early, but not the full conversion going through. That was a full conversion on that side. So right now the battle is between whether or not Benji can prevent Noah from getting the reboot off before, instead just going to stick the revive on the Lechi. So it's going to be a 2 versus 3 again, Storm closing in. The third team came through, and this is a prime example we talked about them being a little bit lax. They should have known the third team was there. They saw that the other team in Dooms had gotten down, and despite the fact of them owning the entire vault area, Savage went and hit the porta potty hideout right away.
Oh, top 15
it's
right here.
Weird, man. Like, you should have known if you're all going to hit that together, which they ended up coming through maybe 5 seconds after.
Yo, if I break them
just
down,
all hit it together and all go through. That way
I'm not
you're
gonna.
kind of in that position
But if
where
I
you can
have a
jump
chance
up.
to,
You have to clean those
and
things
I
up
see
if you're
it
one of the
being
best
like
trios in the game.
easier to do it, kind of,
Luckily, what's working out for
I'm gonna
Benji
do it.
Lechi is
Because
the
top,
vault still
if I
has a
stack
lot
them
of
both,
kinda left
I would
behind, some
get
leftover
40 points for the kills.
Just Thanksgiving / Boxing
and I
Day.
would
This
get,
is a
well, yeah,
international
one
cast.
more person has to
Leftovers,
die, and then I
you
get
could go
30
ahead and
points
just
for
throw
a
in
top
between
15.
2 pieces of bread, you know what I mean? Nothing like a bread, turkey, mashed potatoes, cranberry. Now we're vibing, Sundown. That sounds delicious. And no doubt, Chapix, Squeezy, and Milan are looking so strong. All of Chapix trios made into the zigzag.
Sometimes I feel like I want to, get to know the season before I play Arena. Not because, like, forget, like, talking about the loot pool and stuff. I can adapt, but it's like all the pros,
Be a little bit center here, so I expect Amplify, HTN, and the Train Hard trio to be sniffing around here these parts.
Yeah, but realistically, what they're looking for right now is to just hit the rift and hopefully not get beamed out of the sky. There are a number of players who are nearby. They're going to want to ride this to be as central as possible. Stay away from that. I'm trying to say that teams on the right, teams on the left. That's going to force them to go straight down. Nobody nearby in this area. Will hit the zip line further. 8 HP Sancho has plenty of the big pot. Squeezy is going to go down. And that's the danger of the rifts. We talked about it. The players in this game are way too good. It gives off a video cue. And
Dude, are you
Sancho
kidding me? He actually got that?
Oh man, you could just, or you know, you could just hear the Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. I'm under fire. It's like all of a sudden it goes into a dogfight, sitting up there.
Oh, Shapix is playing and he's not gonna make it out.
Planes were flying around, but there it is.
Shapix is. I believe in him though. I'll be right back.
Like, y'all need to get out. It's not going to, like, I don't think you're going to win it.
Video I gotta watch.
Bomb there, especially this week. You haven't been able to capitalize with the shockwaves and the other stuff, even when you kind of have gotten it. So I'm not sure why they're being so stubborn and still staying there. I think they could rotate out and have more success.
I just have to take a quote from a big medieval fan, and that is Marcellus Wallace. You know what I'm saying? He says, pride, it only hurts, it never helps. And that prideful stance of trying to go for those 300 lances is hurting Benji. But Rotary, Stormy, and Kirachi are looking really strong right now, coming in 12th place into this matchup in Game 2. And this is going to be an opportunity for them to get in. And the adjustments that they made are paying off. And you have to do your homework. You can't just show up to this test and trying to procrastinate your way into the top 15. Yes, there is a track where you could get in through a series points.
Okay.
But you know, these are competitors don't want to be, you know, automatically.
Hey guys, so in this video, we're going to look at a bunch of different ways to counter W keying. You guys all asked for a guide on how to box fight when you're the person inside the box, and that's exactly what this video is. In case you guys did not know, since my last box fighting video, Epic has made some pretty big changes that only makes turtling harder. The way it works now is wall replacing is determined by a random roll, or coin flip. This is a pretty good and fair change overall, it's just it makes holding walls much harder. Anyone, regardless of their ping, can walk up to your wall and has a 50% chance of stealing it. That means we need some tips and tricks to turtle and play defensively when the time calls for it. For this video, you'll notice that a lot of these are counters to tricks I've showed in my counter turtling video. This and that video together are easily the most comprehensive box fighting videos on YouTube, so if you're looking for tricks from the other perspective, go check that out after. With all of that out of the way, let's start with the basics of when someone is pressuring and trying to replace your wall. The go-to counter for most pros is just to make quick edits to catch their opponent off guard. If your opponent is sitting in front of your box trying to pickaxe your wall, that's usually the best time to try for a cheeky little edit shot. because the fact they have their pickaxe out means they won't be able to react in time to pull out their shotgun or to build and block the damage. You'll always see pro players like Tfue and Bugha countering W keyers this way. They all know that a really fast edit is one of the hardest things to block or to expect. Combine that with making different edits from different angles, and this is arguably the most effective way to kill people pressuring you.
Sorry guys, I can't come to lunch.
My personal favorite edit to make is the top right corner edit. You give yourself a huge advantage from the right hand peek, and you can block any return fire if you're able to reset the wall fast enough. From your opponent's perspective, they'll see the top of your head for maybe half a second at most, making this almost impossible to outplay. Bugha always uses this edit to win close range box fights and never takes damage while doing it. Another really underused trick is to wait for them to pressure your wall and then run out fast and at the right angle. From your opponent's point of view, they'll be too focused on the you can make the edit and place a wall, then edit the wall and go for the normal low ground jump. Do not try to break the stairs and replace them as your own. What you should do instead is sit there with your shotgun out and wait for the edit. Literally, that's all you need to do. Line your crosshair up on them and you will always get
into the future thanks to Shio, and I'm already taking a look at the Zone 5 reveals, the half in, half out. Half is in the safe zone, half is in the storm. I have to believe that Train Hard's Amplify as Kirachi gets taken down right there by Seti with a nice hit as he was entering the box. Down goes Kirachi, but to finish my point is that trio
I'm gonna go to the mega store.
No doubt, I'm expecting them to be
Each time.
But let's see if my
Let's go to the My Room mega store.
is real. As Seti here is
Whenever I hit like either 3,000, like if I play like a really good game and I hit 3,000 points, I'm just gonna get off because I'm gonna give something to my family because I really don't know. It's like on like weekend days. It's like I can, like on weekdays, I feel like I come home from school and if I'm not doing anything, I'm just playing video games all day and I feel like I want to do stuff with my family, but I don't know exactly what to
You
do.
can see now we do have our top 17 selfless placement points are going to start taking out everyone left in the lobby receiving 1 point. Each trio that goes down will be an additional point. The rifle fire coming out as the players trying to enter into the zone, try to find a
And the last time I landed here, that one chest gave me a sniper.
And we'll find Michael again. That's 2 games in a row they've had that exchange. This come out on top for Hen and his trio. So
I'm gonna grab every gun no matter
into
what.
that end game again. We'll see if they're able to capitalize now, as I believe all 3 of our top 3 are still in here. We know number 4 is as well. Number 5 just ended up getting knocked out. So the battle at the top is definitely well and alive here. The question is, who is going to be able to push forward and really capitalize here in match number 7?
now, thankfully for that lobby, is going to push back up towards the south side of things. So the advantage that I was speaking of Train Hearts, Amplify, Adian, and Matzo, may be null and void, considering that. But you have to put those in favors for them for coming up on top, because this is where they landed. They don't have to, they kind of know this area so well. They know how to make rotations. They know how to play in-game. And there it is, a crash pad with the box breaker play. And this Train Hard trio picks up a nice elim, able to throw that out. And you can't really prepare for that, Sundown. You're standing on your floor, and all of a sudden, you're falling into a trap and getting eliminated. But now Train Hard is attracting a lot of pressure here. And they have to be sure as they set up for the Mega Shockwave.
And they messed it up. They messed it up. You see that, which is why it's so key. If you have the ability to take the half second to add the guidance up top, it ends up being just a couple walls and another ramp above you, because you get sent off in other directions, and they're going to have one of them get picked up. As we hop on board here with our number one trio, trying to rotate around the side as we wait for the replay to catch back up. Already see sitting on 5 eliminations so far. Oh my lord. Look at Peasant's inventory. 4 clockers, 2 slurpers. Nobody on the map is going to be able to contend with that amount of white HP. So what Nate, Corzier, and Kezix are looking to do is they're looking to just make it into the endgame where Kezix has the ability to utilize these clockers and then just camp out the zone. He's going to even, like, the fact that he's eating a slurfish just to get the 50 shields.
A few games ago, I was talking about
right now, his crash pads are actually
how Arena at the beginning of the season. So sometimes I'm just gonna wait till like the middle of the season to like, if all the pros or like all the really sweats, they play at the beginning of the season as soon as they can. If they play one game, if they play like 1 to like a few games, catching up with everything, see what has changed. And they just go into it because they think, you know, like I'm just gonna hit that. Ooh, I'm just gonna hit that level, you know, before everyone else. Or not that level, they're just gonna hit that, you know, division where you just have to try as hard as you can. I don't know, do I get rid of like my SMG? I don't think my SMG, but I think maybe my AR. If I had a shot with that.
Stomp is still in it. I'm trying to take a look. Hen is trying to clutch all by himself. And Cammy is trying to clutch as well with his trio. We're going to take a look here at Swag. Swag does have his partner here. It's a duo from Swag and Miro. But on the high ground, as you see on the top right of the screen, it is Anas, Thomas, and Fleck are doing really strong. If you're going to take a look at the overview, you see Hen is still up. And Hen is clutching right now. And he is all by himself working into a duo and another solo. But it's just a matter
where
of
everyone's already in high divisions, it's just going to be harder when I bump up, because I'm going to be placed with better players than it being harder to bump up at the beginning of the season. I get pulled with the really good players. So it still does make pros do take time. Like, what I need next season, like, I don't see the problem having arena, solos, duos, and trios. Because let's just say, if we have trios, me and Andrew, if Andrew ever starts to care about arena again, oh my god, we will go. Because when we started playing duos and we were duo partners, we would just do like really good, and we weren't even good. We've probably gotten about 5 times better.
Thomas, Anas, and Flick
No,
just
not that
putting that power position right there. My original week 1 pick are being so strong. And we mentioned throughout the broadcast, yes, Thomas is solidifying himself as a star. There's people in the EU region adding Thomas to their gamer tag, but you cannot sleep on Flick and Anas.
They played that incredibly well, but also have to give a shout out to Hen for lasting through there, getting him into the top 3. But now we're going to toss it back on over to Zeke, Reese, and Shio to break down game number 7.
Boy, oh boy, Thomas HD. We just talked about this guy, and now he's here to show us another VR. Boys, what we can't forget is this trio has already qualified. So right now, they're playing for prize money, and something Reese talked about yesterday, and that is alphaing up on POIs, trying to show everyone else, look, this is my spot.
So it's like,
if you want to compete
if we get that back, we could have the chance, unless Andrew starts playing with other kids, because he's in exotic now.
let's take a look at the standings together. Don't forget, this is a cumulative leaderboard from the 6 matches today and the ones we played
don't
so
think I'm
far.
gonna take the shot.
Kazix,
Maybe.
Forzy are Nate. They're holding strong
Don't
with
think I'm gonna take the shot.
160 points. I mean, Shy, they're looking to pull ahead, but again, we're more focused on the top 15 teams.
Yeah, a lot of the teams that we were looking at in that game were actually near that top 15, but this being what do you think about the teams we're seeing so far?
Well, it's interesting.
Because I don't really think anyone that I have is as skilled as Andrew, besides like Devin, maybe. 100 points away. I think I could hit 3,000 points this game, honestly, I'm not gonna lie.
In particular, that game we just
If I get top 15, I'm not saying I will, I'll be at 930 points, 2,930 points.
All these other teams are already in a position to get the Storm Surge tag, so they're seeing these people fly through the air, they get the audio cue of the Rift, and it's tag, 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 and we saw one of them go down in that moment, and that really affects the rest of the
is this game, dude?
Yeah,
Look,
so
he's gonna shoot me up here,
that
watch.
first place team gets so much more further ahead. It's now almost a 30-point difference between number 2. Since the 10th, though, Mongrel, Mitro, Tayson, after that win, kind of fizzling out. We'll break that down in a sec as to where their game kind of relied in game number 2 of day number 2. Snape, Swag, and Miro, I think these guys were shooting to win that one, but I believe Swag got shot
Why
down
is he
by
stopped?
Moss over on
Okay, he's doing what I do.
that leaves them at
Stop
7.
to get 100% accuracy.
The one kind of outlier is Flick, Anas, and Thomas HD winning that
But
last
I
game.
do see where
Big
he's coming
curse
from.
of being on this page, 11 to 15.
Okay, I'm
Now
low
they're
to the
in
ground,
eighth, so I want to see how much
and
higher they can actually fly.
We've seen a couple teams on here kind of struggle a little bit more today. One of the teams that kind of caught up with was Kiriachi, Rotary, and Stormy Round. They were in a really good position in the second zone, third zone. They're on the high ground. They were really beating down on the players. But somehow they just didn't manage to get enough shots
I still
off
got
for that
points
Storm
this
Surge
game.
like
It's
we
fine
talked
if I
about
don't
earlier.
even
Despite the fact they were
do
in a
good,
position
you know?
to get these great
Or
tags.
do good from
And they
there.
actually end up going
I
down
think
to
I'm
that first
definitely
Storm
gonna
Surge,
try to
so
hold top 15
unfortunately, they're
placement.
not going to do too well in that last game, but
Like
there's
if that
still
guy,
4 more
you
games
know,
left today.
spike
They're
number.
already in a position to qualify as well.
Yeah, they've won a game before, so we
That
definitely know
really
that Kiriachi and Trio knows how to do it right when things go their way. Past that, from 16th to 20th, we still see Train H on the cusp of being top 15. Remember, top 15 is what you need to qualify for East. That's where all these teams that we're watching today are trying to shoot towards, and they're still so good it can go anyone's way on that side. The top of those, it's looking pretty
Good,
solid.
baby. Yeah,
It is, and especially like when we kind of double back and we talk about the people trying to break in. Janice isn't in there, right? This is our FNCS Invitational Champion. Him and his trio did not even qualify in week number 1, and they're looking to break in a top 15 this week. Now, guys, there is actually someone I would like to talk about, and that is Mock.
Yeah, these guys were over here landing at stars. We saw this happen over the last 2 weeks, honestly. I think today's doing the best that these guys have had so far in general, their entire FNCS competition for this season. Getting cars, moving out of starts. Game number 1 was a win. In game number 2, though, things went kind of differently, Reese.
A little bit more sour. Game number 1, they set themselves up in a really good spot. They had plenty of good loot coming out of Starks, as they nearly always do, with rotations in particular, be it shockwaves, crash pads, and bouncers. All 3 of them had that completely set up in game 1. That allowed their early and mid-game rotates to get into this kind of 5th zone relatively simple. They used the bounce pads in combination with the crash pads to get in, and then just took height with that in that game 1.
And then this is where the trouble was for every other trio in the lobby. If you were watching that last game, you saw how good the flop play was for Kazix overall. You saw the win for Thomas
at
HD,
least top
Anas,
15.
and Flick at the end of the game. This game was actually a king of the big hill. There was one hill that stopped so many trios. Look at Mongrel struggling to get up and above it. This hill was active from the entire 7th to 9th zone. Flick, Thomas HD, and Anas actually going ahead and taking height so much earlier, so far and high. Something that Anas actually loves to do in solos. You see that call come here in trios, and they had no shot at all, no trouble in working that race.
And one of the things that actually they really contrasts to the first game, they took the height very early, and if they'd done that in this game, and he was able to actually control that, that hill wouldn't be as
I
much
don't
of a
know
problem.
what's
because
bad
when
if they
you're on high
add,
ground, you're the one
like,
controlling the distance between
you know, like Puerto
The
Rico.
skill, the prowess
Back
of these
in the
players,
game, 'cause I
and
mean,
just to kind of echo some
they
of this
weren't
as
that
well,
overpowered.
it's so
I mean, they were
cool to
really
see
hard
these
to
guys
find.
win, and it's even more interesting to see like Thomas is such a strong player,
Right.
but Anas and Flick, I mean, Thomas was down that last game and they still pulled off the VR, right? So all 3 of these players are massive slayers in their own right. So we'll have to see kind of how this permeates the rest of the standings, right? Because with 4 games left to go, these guys can just be at the top and hold a spot, which would mean someone else would miss out on that spot, breaking into the top 15.
That's actually a very good point. See, you have to understand that one person wins, and this kind of sounds like very simple. There's another team that has to lose. With Fortnite, there's another 32 teams, right, that have to not have the opportunity to get that top spot. So that ripple effect, it really switches things up on the leaderboard every single day.
I thought Reese was gonna be add. I thought Reese was gonna add. It's like Reese is like,
You know, oh, I was thinking ahead, and Shadow kind of nailed it. In all honesty, that first place slot is prize money, but on top of that, it's like pride, right? You know, I've won beat 1, qualifier 1, qualifier 2, or qualifier 3, maybe. And it's a bit of pride that adds up, right? You guys got those calling cards. We're coming into the heats and the finals as a dominant team. We've proven ourselves already. So I'm really interested to see kind of how that plays out as well.
that's right. We got 4 more games to go. Let's send it back to Sancho West and Sundown to take us in to the next game here in the FNCS.
Much Seacrease and Shio. It is Game 3 of the FNCS Chapter 2, Season 4, Qualifiers 2, Day 2, Round 3, EU. You got all that? I hope you do. Copy and paste if you don't, because we're about to have a fantastic time. And so far, we're seeing some consistency here, Sundown, of the copy and pasting. The big names are still sitting on top. 4CR still on top. Now, the question is, you mentioned it, can Benji, the 300 Lancers, trio, make it out of that and switch it up? Or will they consistently try to fight and get injured and out?
Well, they have the benefit. This time you can see the zone just outside of Doom, so if they opt to just get in and get out, they have a quick rotation path to at least do so. We saw last round those purple arrows just north in the northwest area actually collapsed on that fight very quickly. We're able to resolve it, but we're going to hop on over here. Flick, Thomas, and Anas trying to find their space here in Dirty Dogs. Have plenty of room, so they're not overly worried about it. Plentiful amount of metal, upgrade bench as well. So generally, you're able to leave here pretty much anything you want. Flick also already finding a pair of shockwaves, which is incredibly beneficial for this rotation. That, on top of them pulling zone, is going to set them up for a good early game.
And not to mention, this trio used to land in Stevie stats.
What do you have to do? Don't tell me it's like some like top 8. Top 5. Okay. So, already got top 25, minus 60. Plus fair, minus 30, so I got 30 points that game. Top 58, 30 points. I got 60 points that game.
6 games here. If you're familiar with NA East, you know
pretty
that
good.
the first 2 game
All I need is all I need is 100 points in this upcoming game. All I need to get applicant from top 15
squads. They came in 8th place, landing in this area. It's a little bit difficult. Back in the day, in squads days, though, you did have the Grotto looming in the distance, and a lot of big names like.
I only need to get like 10
A little bit
points.
chill, a little bit calmer. Not a lot of people can be able to.
That's it, but I mean that's
So this is why they've been so successful.
a bunch of people can land on it, you know.
Yeah, the biggest thing coming out of this is honestly just guaranteeing you have the Stone Surge stack.
Would I get like 4,000 points if I do?
One thing to hop on board the team.
You know what I'm gonna do?
It's
is,
Skype. This duo does have a Chinese characters, but I'm also not
like
super
play more like more aggressive.
Asiatic language,
Because
so
when I hit, like say I just hit it, I just hit 4,000 points. I go down to I go down to 3,960 because my boss crash. I don't, and I technically I wouldn't be in Division 7, but you can't go down in divisions. So I don't think so. So it's gonna be like see how everyone is like. Am I gonna do good? Am I gonna do bad? No. Just to test it out, because it's not like I'm getting like really close. Like say I get like say in a few games I get like 3,970. I need 30 points to do it. Where, no, say I have 2,970 points. I need 30 points to get to Division 7. But I lose 30 points, so I get top 25, right? Exactly 4,000 points, right? Say I die top 20. Say I die top 20, right? I have exactly if I do bad or good that game,
here in the 15, 16,
I need to shit on this kid quick.
all tied going up in this matchup here. 65 points, so it's all tiebreakers that's breaking it all up. You have a team that is trying to punch their ticket in. Kiriachi Rotary starting right, who competed last week, are so close to not making it. Last year,
Oh my god, I shit on him so quick.
15th right now, holding on tight as
He's
Trey
literally
Martinez
so
just
dog shit.
witnessing, watching. Sky Trio are still knocking on that door. Tico, Slender, and Mas Grande on the 17th place. And my pick, Refsguard, Stompy, Scram, just on the outside, 18th place. So that is how tight it is. And you mentioned Sundown, 17th place is where the placement points get doled out, but Boyer's not going to wait. He's going to go ahead and
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that kid, he could have shot at me, and it could have been, like, yeah, it could have been like that. Like, some kids, like, just box up, they get shot at. Some kids box up and shoot back. Some kids just shoot back. Some kids don't do anything. They just keep running. So I feel like whenever, like, I feel like if it's just, like, I just hit that, and I just hit 4,000 points, it wouldn't hurt to lose 40 points, but still in the same division. That's like that. Like I was saying, like I always wanted to like do like meme strats or like play aggressive when I ever got the Champion League. Cause what I heard, you can't go down a division. And I'm pretty sure you can't go down. I'll Google after this game just to make sure. Like, see how right now.
Kind of picking the fine threads out.
It's those fine threads, though, those details that
I think this game, if I'm lucky, no, if I get top 15,
Egyptian con, you want that 1,000, you know what I mean? You want
I
all those threads
get
to give you that fine,
3,000
soft
points.
feeling blanket. And
I only need
speaking of
1,000 more.
blankets, Noah Riley, Aqua, and Reason are putting the wettest
Which
blanket
could
on
take a
Legend
long time,
Savage. And
because I
look,
could just
another
like
trio is
gain,
snipping
lose,
here,
gain,
so this is
lose,
about to be
or I could
a
do what
very
I've
tight
always been doing,
situation.
just like
And
getting
not a
at
lot of
least, because
options
what I
here
feel,
for Benji, Lecce, and
like I could
Savage
always
here,
be getting like top 25 or like top 15, you know? Because in my opinion,
I mean, again,
I think if I play aggressive and I just like lose 30 points,
as well, and because you are
basically
not leaving
it's
going to make the rotation in that much harder. You
just lose 30 points. But if I
danger, hey, there's a team rotating around here,
just like camp to like at least top 25 where I get 60 points, so if I mess up that game, I still gain 30 points. That's just this division. Next division is going to be losing 40 points. So then next game, I basically, you know, get 20. I mean, next division, I basically get 20 points.
Battle attack, and still sticking with Boyer here in Lazy Lake.
I hate the fact you have to get 6,000 points to get the Champion League. Like, there's not even a point of getting the Champion League now. It's just for the glory and the fame. Not even fame or glory. No one's really gonna care. Everyone's just gonna say you just sweat for no reason. But that's what I want them to do. Because if I do this really early in the season, and I just only play Arena, and I just am like hit Champion League, I cannot lose like divisions. So it's like I can just play for fun. I can play with my friends.
Tripper and trying to put some pressure on the wall. He has his binds up there. He lets it go.
I wanted to use my burst because it was gonna take less shots. But
actually Tripper who's in the
nah, I
duel
have to
with
go with
Boyer
the silence.
right
That's
now,
my
just
G.
trying to kind of keep their space, do what they can to disengage.
Is that a
We
car?
already saw them win one fight. Kedra has been taken out. You can see him trying to double back on over
Wrong.
to the reboot van to execute on the reboot, but with a limited number of maps, it's going to be really hard for him.
I think if I really try, no, if I get one kill and top 25, one more kill at least, get top 25, I hit 3,000 points. That's it. Maybe I just wait for top 15.
Why not? Fiesta at
Now I'm gonna wait till
Lake.
top
Everyone's
25 at
invited,
least.
all of you showing up anyway.
everybody show on up and bring everybody, but make sure you're staying socially distant and wearing masks. But this is the battle that's happening virtually, so that's why they're going to get chest to chest and make sure to get these evens. But they're going to go ahead and maybe disengage, as you've seen, as they're making away, noticing that it's not worth the fight, but still,
Also, what I love
here are still right
is
next
I
to
love
next
scrims,
door
like the
neighbors.
summer
This is
block
the
fight and
battle
everything.
on the bubble.
Every
It's
like
about
tournament,
the
like
close
FNCS,
for
how it's like a
That's only
scrim,
the top
everyone's
team
fighting in
gets
storm,
some
everyone's
advantage
like,
here in
you
the
know, storm's really
bubble,
tiny, you have to
and that's
rotate.
gonna be a moment
I
for everybody to
prefer
stop
that.
like
I'm a
deer
competitive
and
player.
look around for those elim opportunities, but
Like,
wow,
I'm
you see
not even good at
another team that's
creative.
having a slow start to this day. Legendary, Riser, and there it is. They're gonna go ahead and try to make this push to pick up their trio teammate, but these Storm Riders are gonna have to get out of here as quick as possible. And considering that they have a slow start today, you said so yourself a little bit earlier. Looks like it's gonna be a res chain. And Sundown, I don't know, man. You don't want to be in shambles this early into zone 2.
I mean, this is going. They're going to have to execute so well to get out of here. Luckily, finding a medkit, so they're going to chain reviving. And on top of chain reviving, the one thing I would like to see them doing is actually throwing their teammates farther towards zone. You're going to be able to pick them
You know what I
up
loved
to
about
save
Fortnite?
just that
I love
much
the fact that
extra
you can
time,
crouch
but
and
it's
run,
going to get
like,
to a point.
right,
This is
like,
only a one-tick
walking's
zone.
like
They're
that,
going to have,
running's like that,
not
crouching's
enough time.
like that,
That's it. He doesn't have enough
crouch
time.
running's like that.
I was about to say,
Oh good, it only
missed
took like
the
2 inches,
middle.
like a bunch of people to die.
I was watching the wrong feed. It's
Yeah, no, I'm waiting
there's
till
no
top
way.
25,
They're
can't
going
figure
to be
out.
able to get out of here, but it's going to require just so much. And right now, for Jasser,
9 more people need to die, bro. Just
with him, it
take
busts
these
him
people
right at the
away,
end to move all the
bro.
way, which now you're going to see because
Have
Legendary.
have
They're
everyone
playing
push
this
like
completely wrong. I
Holly.
actually don't think they end up getting out of this zone and into the next one because the next zone is also going to be closing. They're above Storm Surge, but the
It's
fact
kind
that
of
they're
annoying when you
losing
find
three
players
times,
like me in
maybe
games, but it's
if
like,
they burn the shockwaves, they can kind of be able to
I
get ahead of
hate
it,
when
but
like, it's like,
it's gonna be
you know
so
you do
freaking
next
hard.
time, last time when I lost,
This is the play that
and
maybe
I was just
creative
boxed
here.
up, and there was nothing I could have
Shockwave
done.
the one person that's carrying the down
I
team,
could have
and then you
just
shockwave
kept
over
tracking
and
him,
kinda
you know?
break the gap
And like maybe
we're
aim and
seeing
maybe
in the
not,
heels. Hey, this is
and
fine.
just could have
They're
like, you know, I
holding
could have kept track of him when he unboxed, and I could have got that, but no.
This could come down
too
to it
late,
here,
honestly.
Sundown. This could come
He had a
down
better
to
shot, and he
just
could have
them
hit me for 200,
surviving.
but I
Maybe
decided
they
to
pop
hide
up an in-game. Maybe they find a
and not
bandage
get that
cannon.
apparently.
Yeah,
I was gonna hold it there. I was gonna hold everything.
Legendary's gonna
Like,
head a port out
I
of
was
there,
gonna
but they're
hold
still
like my
alive.
heels,
Hey,
hold
and
wall,
that is all that what matters
like,
here
you know,
in
like
FNCS.
whenever I need to heal up,
These are
hopefully he'll get weak and I could just at least kill him.
Zone's already
Maybe,
pulled away. Like, there's
maybe I just had to push him.
Believe in the
No,
belief.
I don't believe. I don't believe. I literally, I don't. No, I don't believe. I believe we are watching this perspective right now so that we can see them go down and fail the chain revive. And you know what? I'm completely all for
Small
it.
fries.
As you,
Something, anything,
there's
something.
not chance. What are you gonna do? Like fish straight out of the ground and just hope to pull out a small fire? There's no more white heals on them. It's all gonna come down to whether Legendary or Majasser can keep chain reviving.
Campfire.
But the difference is when this storm zone ends up closing. Nope, he missed the chain revive. That's it. He missed the chain revive. They messed up the timing at the end. That's gonna be it. All three of them took it over, and they weren't able to execute it. Time lost. The little things completely wrong right there. Shouldn't have split the bandages. Should have kept chain reviving on the other two while one person, whoever had the bandages, kept throwing those people farther through. That's how you get out of that situation. And instead, they're going to go down with only 3 points to their name. And honestly, a whole bunch of frustration.
Yeah, we've all been there though. Everybody from all walks of Fortnite life has been there. From solos, duo squads, we've all been there running from the storm, doing our best to survive, hoping for a campfire. But this is going to be the next tough situation for the rest of the board. The start industry elevation, and already there's some people looking down over it. And when you see Thomas HD with the legendary sniper, oh no, you better watch out as Heat Seed goes out. Gets snuffed on out right then and there, but this is going to be that opportunity that we've seen, Polar Peak 2.0, and look at it, folks. If you're on the bottom looking up, that's what you have to deal with. You have to be with the hottest trio in the EU region, beaming down toward you, and that's going to be a tough situation to navigate. And not only that, Everybody else is up there looking down over, looking for those easy picks. So you have to wonder, the mongrels of the world are up there. They have to be in a strong position. As you're seeing there, more EU teams have finished top 10 after rebooting a player than any other region.
And that could be a little bit of foreshadow going on here. As we saw, the reboot did end up coming through. Kessler is back up there as Boyer and Trippin are able to get it, or Kaiser. I apologize. I always want to not pronounce that correctly, even though you know the enunciation. I just look at the spelling and go through. But doing so well, Boyer showing a little bit of a resurgence right now. 4 Elam so far. Trippin sitting on 1, and a cheeky snipe coming through the edit. That's DeCiptos who caught that one with his teeth. He says, "Don't worry, Mr. President. Get down. I got you." And Boyer now going to try and close the gap. The big thing here is they're not utilizing this in order to convert on the elimination. Look at where they are in the bottom right. Their goal with this is to put pressure on the team up there, and by getting the knock, they guaranteed one of the 2 teams who's billy goating up on the side of the hill is unable to play gatekeeper right now because they have to focus on the revive. That's why you see them sprinting forward, and with all of their low HP pools and the reboot, they don't have any excess shields, so they need to get in this zone pretty much now on the back of the Boyer snipe. If he doesn't hit that, I don't think they get in.
There it is. You're seeing how it's just not about just necessarily storm tags. It's not necessarily about getting the knock. It's not about getting that 1 point. It's just allowing yourself to get that in game. And Boyers and Kaiser are playing really strong, already over their average eliminations, already sitting at 5, I believe. They've been outputting 2.6. So they're turning it up at the right time because day 2, you're at the halfway point. This is game 3 here. After that, we're going to take a break and let our competitors rest for a bit. Because like I said, if you get to the end game, we're talking about 20 minutes of high, intense Fortnite competitive action.
And you can see right now with that zone reveal in the bottom right-hand corner, we're going up onto upstate New York, just a little bit northwest, some of the factory into play, but that means you pretty much have to go right now. And you see right there, Boyer and Co. being taken out. That's Antrak, Slove, and Sick, who will be on the benefiting end of those eliminations. And it was going to be tough anyway because they had to go and pull up, didn't have any excess shields, any excess utility had already been burned. So despite getting those 6 early eliminations and the 2 trio wipes, really not going to be benefiting a ton from the points that they could have gotten from this game. Again, those placement points coming through in the top 17. You actually see Savage and Lecce get taken down there in the feed. That was Mitro, Mongrel, and Tayson being the benefactors there. So some Titans going at it right now as everyone trying to find a way up on top of the Starfall pit.
And here it is. We saw on day 1.
They should break them down. That'll be
big factor as 2 in-games happened here, and out of those basically in-games, it was
if I break that down, that's easy stuff. Unless you could have fresh bed. I don't think you would find out where I am right now.
Number 1 spot.
Unless we stay right up there. But 125 meters. No way. How was that only 125 meters? Look at this.
Out so quickly, got lobby focus.
How was that?
Take a look at the overall positions of all of our players. You're seeing the crazy mountains that the Stark Industries point of interest has. They have to navigate that, and this is brand new. If you're missing out in Season 4, yes, Marvel superheroes are here. We're talking about Tony Stark from the Marvel Universe.
Just a game, dude.
Having a way here at Fortnite Island, trying to figure out what is going down, creating some awesome tech. But now we have a hot team here of Hen, Putrick, and Deceptos making their way on the low ground. Uh-oh, big one.
Yeah, but I was about to say, while they're setting up that propane tank play, they didn't cover their flank, and now it's all going to be up to Hen. We've seen this time and time again with this team, where they get a little too separated. They're not necessarily on the same
5
page.
more people to die. When I hit top 5, I get 30 placement points.
But however,
I think it should be like 60 for everything now. But it's like, okay, I just got top 25, right? I get 60 points, 60 arena points. Or hype.
What can he do?
Right? And then you basically have 10 people die, and you only get 30 points.
Directly above them, but
and
now
then
we're gonna
you wait for 10 to die. The thing is, it's hard. Like, I get that.
Going down, it's all going to be on the back.
Like, I get that it's harder to get top 25 than probably anything else because the people slow down. But that means you're going to be playing with the better players. The better players, or the ones that camp like me, are the ones who survive,
going into one backpack. The carry is real, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many elims or all the points. It just matters how you work as a trio. And so oftentimes, a lot of people like to break down like this player didn't do as much as elims, but that it just all matters, man. The support players, the IGLs, whatever you want to break down trio roles, you work as a unit. And we're seeing right now a strong unit working right now in Teak, Seti, and Kubik. They did some really high in-game finishes. 38 points. It's a solid day here in day 2. And of course, they're one of the teams that didn't even make it into week 1 of round 3. So this is the first time here in the FNCS trios in round 3 of week 2.
I don't want to say I have a little bit of an issue saying like they didn't even make it, but particularly in Europe, I mean, we talked about it a little yesterday, where I think realistically there's maybe 40 to 45 trios, so you could say like, hey, if they play their best 12 games, they can win the region, especially when you have to go from the top 1K trios down to the top 33.
I bet you he's in that bush right there.
Every week and having
No, I bet you he's in the farther one.
Actually nuts. Like
No,
that in
I
itself
doubt he's on the
suggests how
staircase.
strong
He could be
your
though,
trio is
but
when you consider
most likely
all the things
he's
you have to
in
deal
the
with
bush.
when it comes to the game
The
of
bush would be a
Fortnite.
smart
So I think even
position.
getting to the dance and then being able to put
Because
on a solid
he can
performance
like be actually out here.
argument enough
He can't
that
like he could
can
be
say you
like
belong there. And as long as you do that
above
once or
on the
twice, you
staircase,
should be
but
seeing
it would be
him
harder to see. But he
Absolutely,
could
and
be
they're
all the way
dancing
back
with the
there.
stars at the moment
He
right
could be in
now.
the bush
They
all the way
have
over there.
3
He
elims
could see
going
me
into
right now. He
4th
could keep
place
track
here
of him.
before this game. Strong performance. No doubt they're going to be able to punch their way into the next rounds, which are heats, and that is when things get a little spicy.
I
The
just
heat is
realized
getting
the amount
turned
of
up in the
people.
kitchen as they pick up a nice elim, working in the mucky muck right now, doing really well as a trio. We had so many analyst packages breaking down.
I should
the
do
strength
tips and
of the
tricks
low
too
ground,
at
but
least.
Sundown,
See,
because
no,
they're
see,
in a
I
certain
never
industry,
liked
they're
playing
gonna
souls because I just
navigate
thought
a
it's
lot
just
of high
gonna
elevations.
ruin my points. But you also have to think not the way that I was thinking. Like, yeah, it can make you lose points, and yeah, you might be better off just waiting for your turn.
Mostly pretty manageable. There is the one hill
Now, can you go
that's kinda
upstairs for a
completely
little bit?
towards the northern side that can cause some difficulty. Doesn't look like it's going to come to play as we tick in closer to our first round of placement points. Don't forget that happens top 78, and then every placement out until you're into that top 3 is 1 point. Top 3 is +2, top 2 is +4, then the victory royale nets you an additional 5. Because right now we have Kubaks in the top of your screen, Teak in the bottom right, Seti in the bottom left. Seti carrying the burden of eliminations right now with 4 from this match, but doing a good job rotating and just staying ahead of the zone.
Here we go, they're doing their best as well, staying above the storm surge, looking very strong. We're so close to placement points getting doled out, and look at them, they're 4th place, working together, and this is what we mentioned as well before, the beautiful talk
they
they
just
have.
need
And when you have
play
a
aggressive.
clean rotation like this, when you're working on all cylinders, this is the fundamentals of trios that we're seeing, and that is what makes it work so well. The hip-to-hip action, one piece and kind of going back and forth, checking on the front side, checking on the back side, the person on the back side, cleaning up, opening up builds, making edits, looking for those tags, while the person in the front leading the way, kind of going through the chaos and the madness that's ensuing in front of them, making those layer changes, all that coming into this cacophony of awesomeness as we're seeing in the feed. Blink goes down, 4ZR is still up, and now we're definitely in the placement points as we're in the top 15. 4ZR picking up an elimination of Nas, but Kubix is not done. As you see, someone else is occupying this layer. They're going to do their best to send the shots through. As we said in one of his YouTube videos, a lot of eliminations come through by shooting on your layer, and that was some good tax there for Kubix.
And they want to continue with it, as we said, into the placement point
This
area.
kid in
Top
the bush right
14
here,
trios, top 18.
I'm so
18
smart.
remaining right now, so a couple duos and solos running around. This is a complete trio, though, tarping on the side, and they found a great layer. Not a whole lot of contention coming through. They able to get clean shots on the backside. They're able to pick up Slender. Quick Harpoon.
Does no one
get
decide
whatever
to
massive
break that kid
utility
down?
from that as he can.
Look
Groups
at
up
this, like,
just the one
if
spot.
he pushes
Close
shit, I get an
in on
extra
the
30
top
points,
end.
like, bro.
Takes out Snappy
Look,
with some
dude,
help from
no
the
way I
wall.
actually got that
trio
out.
is still up. You can see Nitro also picking up it down there onto Rascal Mongrel, converting that one over. We have our top 20 players now, but one more trio will still need to drop before we have the top 10.
The advantages of being on this layer right here, the mid ground, is it allows you to kind of have a 3D effect. You have to shoot at people above you, shoot at people below, but at the same time, you have an opportunity to take height at a moment's notice. So you're going to be watching a lot of trios here in this situation, kind of looking up and down for all opportunities to get these tags. But now they're on the low ground, and they're going over waters. You see, this is closing time. Zone 9, and Cubix closes out another story, as in the Elin thing is Chapix, and actually, it is squeezed out.
Dude, I'm dead here, bro. It's so annoying.
If you take a quick
Bro.
peek at the Calculated Clouds on high, is the Wonder Boys of Mongrel. Again on high with Tayson and Mitro.
They're just trying to drop everything they can on the top, looking for the opportunity when they'll be able to put pressure down on top of them. Right now, though, Cubex and Seti can do a good job on the low ground. We're about to run out of materials. The question is, with those two Medkits and a Siphon going through, can he find the timing with the zone going to full close? He needs to get in front of it and then pop the Medkit.
Okay,
He wants to have an 8 advantage. We see
maybe
going down there, and right now it's a 3v2 v1 again with Tayson, Mitro, and Mongo in complete control. Milan and Cubex trying to get whatever they can. Not going to happen.
You know, it's a big jump from open league to
top comes out, but of course, from the top down, it was never in doubt. Mitro, Mongo, and Tayson taking home the victory royale and just asserting themselves in day number 2.
There it is, the Wonder Boys getting it job done, already finishing week 1 with 3 victory royales, and so far they got 2. What a great start here as we're hitting the half point of week 2.
I'll be right back, guys.
Very strong trio,
Guys,
saying it doesn't matter wherever we go. If we're there,
I
everyone
am
else needs to
going
out.
to end the
Let's take a
stream.
look at the standings. Remember, cumulative points from yesterday as well. Kezix,
Have
Forster,
a good
Nate.
day.
This is the team you predicted in week
And
number 1, Reese.
so,
And they're back.
also,
week
before
number
I
2,
end it,
they're still holding down the
hopefully,
number 1 spot.
next
Doing it in a very,
stream,
very dominant fashion.
we
Interestingly,
go
out of all
towards
their games, no
Division
match to pick
7,
up a victory royale yet.
get to the
But still,
last
their eliminations are so
contender
far ahead of
league
everyone else.
division, Division 7.
66 next
Then
versus
we have to get
49.
2,000 more
And
points to
Mongo
get to
Tayson
Division
is a
8,
team
which is
known for
Champion
being
League.
very, very aggressive, and they're still out
Hopefully we can
eliminating
do
it
it.
by 17 units.
Might play a little bit in between,
Yeah,
maybe
watching
get to
all
like
this stuff
3,
from these
maybe
day 2 trios, honestly,
get
I
like
would
90
say
points.
hand to Mongrel, Seti,
Probably
Cubix,
if I do
as well.
play
But
and
do
not
let
wait
day
till
number
next
2
stream.
distract
So
you from
I'm
what
going